We are live. This is the Market Update Show. I am your host, Bill Noble. If you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel, turn on alerts so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, please hit the like button. All right, the stream is working. Welcome to the world, Kaizen. I am your host. We are going to welcome who is here. David, Thomas, hello. All right. David, looking for some ideas on coins. We'll talk about it. Justin, Tanya, Jonas, Riyadh, welcome to the show. Mo, Yolanda, Alexandra. All right. Now, before we welcome the rest of the names, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about what does Altseason mean in the new world? Right. Does Altseason mean everything pumps all at once? Here's a hint. No, that's not what it means at all. Sector rotation is going to be critical, especially when you look at going back and forth between things like DeFi and RWA, right? And then memes and the rest of the market. We'll try to look at the meme coin charts. I know that stuff is hot, but you have to ask yourself, are you exit liquidity for whales on big memes on centralized exchanges? I know there's small stuff that's hot, but the big stuff I'm like looking at going, we'll talk about it. Tylus, PDA, welcome. Katya, SGSG, the original. Shelly, Aaron, Stefan, welcome to the show. Okay. All right. Now, let's jump into the news. Okay. Now, will there be no income tax in the future? Is no tax on tips going to be the gateway to taxation being completely different? Now, I think the answer to that is yes. I think the larger point about these type of tweets, these type of issues, is that people think the next group in power is kidding about changing taxation, changing the strategic Bitcoin reserve. Okay. They're not. They're not. And the next thing they're going after is Web3, meaning if they're going to buy Bitcoin, they're also going to buy, I think, other coins because they're going to put U.S. government infrastructure on Web3. There are going to be new payment mechanisms. There's going to be a new Magnificent Seven, which may have already been announced, right? Like, for example, XRP, Cardano, Algorand, and HBAR have tax-free transactions because they're U.S.-based crypto products. HBAR has also connected. That's like the bridge for the Karate Combat token. Now, if you add those four to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, as laughable as it is, that could be the Web3 Magnificent Seven. Now, of course, there are always going to be, there's like probably $7 or $8 billion memes, but can XRP trade at a much higher market cap, right? Like, is Web3 the relaxed trade because they keep giving you these 5 to 8% dips on a daily basis to get involved? So these are things worth considering. There's news about geopolitical events. Now, there was news about geopolitical events for 8 months. And every time it happened, the market freaked out and everyone was like, oh my God. And it never turned out to affect the market. This type of news can maybe stall the market. That's it. All right. So, some people think it's great news that, there could be more geopolitical conflict. These people are no longer in control. They are for 63 days. But, again, when it comes to things to worry about, you have not paid to worry about anything because, again, we're not in the range anymore. This range mentality has got to go. Now, I think people are starting to get it. They're starting to get it because, the meme thing is that exciting. But in the rest of the market, they're still in the range. Okay, so for meme coin craziness, Andrew Tate now has, his dog has a meme coin. So, couple points here. Like, when is enough? When is too much? When Andrew Tate has, his dog has a meme and then, the meme shoots all the way up and then comes back down. As with all these memes, which, this is not investment advice and you should not be doing it, etc. You should not be doing it, etc. You don't want to wind up losing major trading capital, FOMOing into certain memes, smaller ones. So if you're in like the 10 to 20 million market cap area, usually I like to tell people to try to buy a substantial dip. One of the things that I've talked about regarding meme coins is you get a 40% dip, then it'll go up. You get another 40% dip, then it'll go up, and you'll get another 40% dip. Once that's done, you can get a larger rally, then a bigger dip, and then it goes. Buying 40% dips in meme coins that you believe in usually are the way to go versus trying to FOMO in. If you do FOMO in, I strongly recommend you only do that with a portion of your capital. All right, now back to the news. Okay, back to the news. Okay, the government runs on ancient computers and software, and they need an upgrade. Okay, so recently the General Accounting Office has figured out or has announced that the government is working literally on ancient computers and software. What would happen to oracles, to database infrastructure, layer ones, Polkadot, if you put the US government's database system on Web3 or on a layer one or on a blockchain, for example? In other words, I think this is back to 2017, where people are not going to just discover Bitcoin and altcoins, but they may also discover blockchain. And blockchain infrastructure basically is layer ones. So ask yourself this, look at this tweet and say, is every single layer one like way too cheap by like, billions upon billions in market cap? In research, you get paid for imagination. I'm starting to imagine like Web3 for real. With, like I said, the president-elect is on the phone with the CEO of Ripple, which is, obviously the parent company of XRP. XRP goes up and they immediately sell it. Certain coins go up, they immediately dip it like 6-8%. Is that the big opportunity? My answer would be yes. Okay, BlackRock Spot Bitcoin ETF, okay, does 6,000 ETH on November 15th. 6,000 ETH, and it barely moved the price. Now, be mindful. If Bitcoin gets to 100 or 105K, this whole market could turn around and switch the layer one narrative from not just Solana and Sui, but to all the layer ones, including ETH. In other words, is this alt season yet? You know what? Not really. It's meme season. It's sector rotation season. You get like Ohm from real world assets up 100%, but everyone's coins are not going up at once, right? And we'll talk more about that. Now, here's a sign of how crazy things are. Bonk had bigger volume than Bitcoin on Coinbase. That's some really powerful stuff. But ask yourself this question, right? Well, the first question is Bonk market cap or any big meme market cap. The more that expands, the more the rest of the market can expand. Like, for example, if Bonk or Doge has, a 40 or 50 or 60 billion dollar market cap, could XRP have a 250 billion dollar market cap, right? Or a 500 billion dollar market cap? These are questions you should answer about the benefit of memes in the market. We have officially open sourced our strategic Bitcoin reserve policy model. So in case you haven't noticed, the U.S. government is talking about buying 1 million Bitcoin. Okay. 1 million Bitcoin over 5 years. Now, why would they do that? Because they want a wealth effect. They want to goose the whole ecosystem. Yes, it's about using Bitcoin for its various purposes, the way RFK talked about it. But it's also useful to move the entire ecosystem. If you reduce government spending by a substantial amount, which is what they're talking about doing, you have to have some sort of economic growth engine to replace it. And that's part of what they're doing with the strategic Bitcoin reserve. Also, the strategic Bitcoin reserve is not factored into price. I'm sure if they said we're not doing it, Bitcoin would go down. But the fact that they are going to do it is not fully factored in yet. Okay, so they're trying to also debate as to who the most, pro-Bitcoin treasury secretary would be. Okay, Elon wants Howard Lutnick because, he himself holds hundreds of millions of dollars in Bitcoin. Kind of the more traditional Wall Street crowd wants this guy Besant, who is a foremost Soros hedge fund guy. Now, in his defense, right, because I know you're like, well, we want the pro-Bitcoin guy. This guy would probably be better if there was ever a crisis or a problem with the dollar or the stock market. In other words, I don't know anything about the first guy other than he owns huge amounts of Bitcoin. Okay. This guy might probably be a better choice if there was ever like a major crisis. But of course, we're all going to sit and cheer for the pro-Bitcoin guy. This dude's like really a stock market guy. So that's what the stock market wants. The stock market wants anybody that will turn on the printing press and save them if the market goes down. Right. And we'll talk more about the stock market later if we can. Hedge fund legend Paul Tudor Jones owns $160 million in Bitcoin. The billionaires are coming big time. Right. And so are the billionaires' hedge funds. Right. In other words, Bitcoin is going to be something that everybody has to own. And I think eventually it's going to be 20% of traditional portfolios. And if it's not Bitcoin, it'll be other projects where it starts to dawn on people that altcoins are not just totally speculative assets. Everyone's always like in equities, like altcoins, 90% of altcoins disappear. Okay, well, what happens if 90% of altcoins, A, don't disappear? And B, what happens if there's like 7 to 20 altcoins that become as important as the Magnificent Seven in stocks? These are questions, again, people are not asking themselves, and people are getting caught up in this choppy market where it'll sort of go up. Some coins will go up, some coins will go down, or some coins will go up. And if your coin's not up 40%, you're upset. Don't do that. Okay, that's not how these guys look at the market. Now, this is an important slide. Okay, crypto industry market flow was $6 billion this week, making it the largest weekly inflow in history. Okay, so people have to come out of the stock market. Okay, the stock market's going to have drug companies, food companies, agricultural companies, in trouble with the new regulators. Okay, You're going to have social media companies that are going to have to answer for things that social media companies need to answer for. And that's going to affect tech stocks, or it can. Okay. People have obviously figured out that, crypto is being put on the map on its own and through the new administration. Plus the meme thing, is driving people wild, because one of the reasons centralized exchanges list big meme coins is because people don't really have to understand them. They just say, oh, this is cute and it's going up, and they pile in. Now, personally, these things can go up a lot, because you never want to underestimate a November, December blow off top ever, because that's what happened with Bitcoin in 2017 when it went from 5K to 20K. My only idea about the biggest meme coins is that, even if they go up massively now, you're going to be running into big whales in January who are going to be looking to take advantage of centralized exchange liquidity to sell. To sell to who? To all the people who are piling in now. So in the rest of the market, I think you're very, very early. I still think it's early in Bitcoin because people have expressed a willingness to pay $1 million. I don't know if it's totally early in certain meme coins. In small ones, yeah, of course. But you just want to think about what you're doing, if you're looking to do investing. So again, an example, Solana-based meme coin inspired by a banana taped on a wall, pumped 100% after Binance announced the launch of its perpetual contract with up to 75x leverage. Okay. So yes, a banana on a wall traded at $500 million. Crypto sure is fun. It's definitely fun. I want you to have fun, but I don't want you to get smoked in the event that there's a rotation out of these coins into Bitcoin or the rest of Web3. For now, it's party on. Okay, party on with trading capital. Now, MicroStrategy has acquired more Bitcoin. Okay, their average price is roughly $50K. So they've been moving their average price up. One thing about MicroStrategy that you definitely want to keep in mind, as I've said before, MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, started buying Bitcoin at 2021. He had a month where he was paying $60K, and his average price on the way down, I think for 2021, was roughly what it is now at $48K. Now, can you imagine how he felt after FTX and having to live with Bitcoin at like 18, 19K for 6 months? When you go through that kind of trial, when you go through that kind of pain, your conviction increases massively. So if you're wondering who's going to pay $100K for Bitcoin, I got news for you. He is. This thing will print $100K, and he'll do what he did at $20K, which is say, I still think it's cheap, I'm buying. He broke the market out in 2018 or 2019 above a level that we thought we would never see again. We were like, I don't know how anybody's ever going to pay over $20K for Bitcoin. And he came in and just started plowing into it. And we were like, wow, this guy's a legend. And then he started the 2020 ignition higher. So please don't doubt the power of what Michael Saylor can do once this gets to 100. Okay. Now, again, a meme coin that you should really not do. I bring these things up just as a point of information. There is a MicroStrategy meme coin that takes after SPX 6900. This is MSTR 2100. It's got a $29 million market cap. And when I was talking about the 70% drawdown in memes, this is kind of like an educational message in meme coins. Like, obviously, it didn't pay to buy the meme at $2 or $3, but then it turns around and goes down 70%. Okay. So when do you look at meme coins? You look at them, you can look at the hot ones on the way up if you want to play that game. But if you're looking for other ones, you find the 70% drop. Again, don't play in anything under 30 million without massive research. I just want to show you that because everyone's like, okay, hi, I'm here. How do I trade meme coins? Marathon Digital, a miner, proposes a bond issue to get more Bitcoin. So let me just make sure we understand this. Marathon Digital, that makes Bitcoin as a miner, wants to actually goose its price by borrowing money to buy more Bitcoin. They're effectively turning themselves into a Bitcoin hedge fund. Miners, which, we talk about the stocks sometimes on the show. Miners are turning themselves either into AI companies in terms of how to redirect energy. In the future, if you want to buy massive amounts of Bitcoin, the only way to do that is going to be to actually buy a mining company or buy MicroStrategy. Last week, he was talking about paying a dividend to shareholders in Bitcoin. Like, unbelievable the things that are coming, and unbelievable how they're not exactly priced into the market. Again, meme coins are super fun. You can make a lot of money, as you've heard. But they could be a distraction from what's going on in the rest of the market and an investing opportunity that could still be epic. Like, here's a classic example of the indecision that's currently happening in the bond market, right? I'm sorry, in the Bitcoin market. Will BTC break 100K? This is a poll done by a stock guy. So this week, 24%. By Thanksgiving, 25%. By Christmas, 24%. By New Year's Eve, 28%. Okay, nobody's really sure when Bitcoin takes out 100K. I think they have a shot to do it over Thanksgiving. I think when it comes to Bitcoin in the market, you maybe get these 3-day dips before they can have bigger surges. Now, if Bitcoin doesn't surge, then it's alt season, right? The bid's going to go somewhere. All that money that came in the first time, it'll go to altcoins. It'll go to taped banana meme coins. It'll go somewhere. Okay. But it's literally happening. Meaning this entire ecosystem is being levitated higher, and this breakout is about 15 days old. Okay. Again, the amount of money flooding in is epic. Okay. Solana has done 700% more volume than Ethereum in the last 24 hours. So there's a couple things to note about this. Obviously, nobody wants to trade meme coins on Ethereum, obviously. Second of all, there's huge amounts of volume going through on Solana. And in the past, I don't know, it feels like Solana is just too low given the volume. Like, shouldn't Solana be at 400, given the demand and the meme coin craze? So the point I'm trying to make is Solana could go much higher. Like, once this layer 1 narrative takes off, like, I think Sui is the leader, believe it or not. And then if you start following, if you have Solana follow, you could have ETH, a layer 1 that no one talks about, like Dusk, right? SEI, Aptos, okay? Any other layer 1-ish coin like Algorand, HBAR, ICP, you could have a robust layer 1 rally. And of course, this includes coins like Cardano, which used to be, boomer coin, is now a meme coin for the guy who is advising the next administration. So if you don't think the guy who advises the next administration is not going to have something, I don't know, federal running on his blockchain, and if that spreads to corporations, to government, this layer 1 narrative with Sui and Solana hot, they could pull all the rest of it up with it. Like, somebody was asking, like, hey, what do I do? Folks, the answer as to what do you do is probably more plain vanilla than you think, particularly if you want to kind of set it and forget it. Okay, Solana dApps taking in, huge amounts of fees, right? Liquid staking, ETH, Radium, right? Jito is a huge underrated play. So is liquid staking, Radium. Okay. It's unbelievable how this meme coin thing is literally pulling up the entire ecosystem. Meanwhile, back at the XRP ranch, I recently did a short video that it's like the biggest short video in a long time, where I'm talking about how high, what's the value proposition for XRP. The head of Ripple is talking to the next president. XRP is fast money. Ripple has a payment plumbing system that most big banks are already doing business with Ripple. So how about an American crypto company that has fast money, blockchain, and a layer 1 with XRP Ledger, working directly with the United States? And the thing that's so funny is, after listening to years, literally years of, XRP is going to $6, or XRP is going to $100, or some crazy market cap scenario for years, on nothing more really than across the board influencer hyperbole. In other words, during down markets, or even, like after 2021, and even during that bull market, everybody talked about XRPs. Like, if you wanted to get attention, you just said, here's XRP. Put the XRP logo on a thumbnail. XRP this, XRP everything. And then it wound up a huge retail trap. Retail sat in it and then watched Solana go from $10 to $200. And then I think they packed it in on XRP and moved on. It's understandable because they got hosed. But the thing is, XRP went up and then they dumped it back to $1, right? You got a chance to buy XRP because bag holders and retail sold the first big rally, which I think is a huge opportunity, and B, seemingly insane because, that whole Elon joke, like, let that sink in, when he came into Twitter holding a sink, none of this has sunk in yet. None of it has sunk in yet. XRP records highest week in 3 years, surging past $1. You know what, folks? XRP at $5 is not ridiculous anymore. It's not. It's not, because if you have Bitcoin, if you have total crypto market cap at a $6 trillion market cap, right? So $6 trillion for the overall market and $3 trillion for just Bitcoin. That means you have total altcoin market cap at $3 trillion. Total altcoin market cap right now, I don't know. It's maybe like 800 billion. There is massive room. Now, that could be the memes too. You could have like, $560 billion memes. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to tell you not to party on there, but I am going to tell you that there's huge opportunities in other places of the market with like an investing style narrative. Okay. Ethereum faces more upside with eyes glued to 6,000. Okay. So just remember, in ETFs, right? There's Bitcoin, which has gone up. There's Ethereum, which has gone up a little and is underperforming. And in equities, they absolutely love underperforming assets. It's like, hey, let's come on in. Let's buy this because it hasn't gone up as much as Bitcoin. That's how stock market people think. And like I said, the social media companies, the pharmaceutical companies, the food companies, yeah, they got a little bit of a problem on their hands. So if I was in equities, I'm like, well, I'm not adding to any of these positions. I'm effectively going to dump these positions and move over into these crypto ETFs. And of course, this says nothing about what happens if you wake up one day and you have the Solana ETF, you have the XRP ETF, you have Grayscale products already that have XRP in it. You could have huge rallies, right? Especially if there was ever like a case for Ethereum to take off because they were going to use it, they as in possibly the government or corporations, for Web3 because they need a reliable network, right? They need reliability if you're going to do Web3. And from all intents and purposes, once the government starts with Bitcoin, The Treasury is not going to be far behind in buying ETH. Matter of fact, the original proposal on the strategic Bitcoin reserve was to have Ethereum included in that. Zero Hedge reported that in May. So all it takes is for one person to go, you know what? We like this for the future of the internet. And it takes off. Right now, it's still Boomer Coin. But Cardano was Boomer Coin, and so was XRP a week ago. And Algorand and HBAR, like if I came to you like before the election and I said, you know what? The best post-election plays are HBAR and Algorand in the non-meme world. You would have just like tuned me out. Even if I said XRP and Cardano, you would have tuned me out. It's like, oh, okay, another YouTuber talking about XRP and Cardano. That was out of style a year ago. Frequently, the first trade in any larger move, like the first trade in this case was memes and Bitcoin. Okay. Now, is every meme at $500 million? No, right? That's the first trade that brings capital into the system. But once there's capital in the ecosystem and hedge funds and mutual funds follow, other coins, in other words, Altseason actually is here. You just don't know it because everybody thinks Altseason is every coin goes up 20% a day, most especially their coins. In this world, you need research because, you got to find the sectors and you have to actively manage your portfolio. And sometimes that can be week to week. Okay, Ethereum ETFs hit record inflow, right? Personal financial advisors caught flat-footed by this. In other words, people in equities are calling their advisors going, dude, why do we not own the Bitcoin ETF? Why do we not own the Bitcoin ETF? Like Bitcoin is going up. How do we get involved? And they're not going to know how. And that's when they're going to FOMO into crypto equities, MicroStrategy, Coinbase's stock, the Bitcoin miners, the Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETF, the Grayscale products. In other words, if this were an American baseball game, I think this whole thing is like the third inning, right? Like Bitcoin's move to 100, that was first inning. Memes were second inning, right? In other words, like, hey, okay, we're going to list all the big meme coins on all the centralized exchanges, and we're just going to indiscriminately pump them. Second inning. Now, for anyone's outside the United States, a baseball game is 9 innings. That means you have, each team is going to get to hit the ball 6 more times. You're going to have 6 more like thematic market moves by the time this is all said and done. So you could have absolutely wild action in this market, both up, that's probably this year, and then probably unbelievable corrections and volatility starting in January. Right? In other words, January, you're going to have people taking profits. Then you're going to have people buying the dip. Then you're going to have like the government officially get sworn in and come on the tape. You're going to have unbelievable volatility. And I would strongly encourage you to try to save as much bandwidth as you can. In other words, don't necessarily stay up all night trading. Like, obviously, there are opportunities here, but don't burn yourself out. Don't do it. Okay, miss the Bitcoin rally. Bitcoin meme coins could be next to watch. Okay, there's no uptick in the Runes protocol, and I actually agree with this. They're going to start going after memes on multiple chains, right? It's not going to be just Solana base, which is a big sort of research anchor of this group. Could be next. Could be next. All right, let's welcome who else is here. I'm actually a little nervous today because this is like, this is we're on the outside world now. Okay. Okay. So PDA is asking, can we look at the strategic Bitcoin reserve meme coin? Okay. Sometimes I need a contract address for this. Okay. But I will take a shot at it. SBR is the ticker. Okay, so this is a coin on ETH. Now, with meme coins, again, you get paid to buy the bigger dips. So, like, for example, that was a 50% dip. And then it went back up. And then this is another 50% dip. I call it 40, 40, 40, 70. Like even Peanut back in the day. Peanut gave you 40 and 50% corrections before it eventually moved higher. I think this is a way to keep yourself from getting hosed, right? And then Sync. Again, contract addresses are key. Now, another thing in meme coins, which I know is a huge thing, you should not do these meme coins without further research. You should not. Now, when you see a meme coin in an early stage, you want to see a square consolidation. I don't know that that's exactly square, but, there's an argument for that. Okay. Square consolidations are a good sign, can be, not investment advice. And 40% declines. If a meme coin goes down 40% and then recovered, like, frankly, I think that's either what humans do or that's what algorithmic trading bots do. They buy these meme coins on 40% dips. Okay, let's see. Let's welcome who else is here. Okay, we have Zapatis is here. Stefan. Okay. PDA asking about XLM. Okay, that's really interesting. Alexandra is here. Good morning. Okay, let's talk about XLM. Talk about some serious boomer crypto. That's funny. I definitely want to look at XLM. These guys supposedly back in the day, like one of the original narratives behind XLM back in the day was that, these things were going to be used as CBDC platforms, which of course now is not happening. Wow, look at this. People, like I said, everybody, like people are looking at this and they don't know what they're looking at. Okay. So this is XLM. And this is XLM on a weekly chart. And this is the bigger the base, the higher in the space. Web3 infrastructure traded on Coinbase, right? I mean, if everybody hits Coinbase at the same time and they see something trading at 13 cents that's gone up 25%, right? And they know that this thing can pump to 70 cents, right? This is 2018. This is 2021. And what happens if it just turns around and goes back up? I mean, to tell you how unbelievable this pump is, this is the March high. So if you look at most altcoins, like a lot of altcoins like Arrow and DGen and a lot of the coins that they like, in this group, you saw huge pumps, but the market is nowhere near its March high. And it's very simple. Everything is going back to its March high because we're doing Bitcoin, memes, layer 1, and Web3 all at once. Like back in 2021, it was like, oh, Web3, Web3, Web3. Web3 was a bunch of people in like bunny costumes at crypto conferences handing out QR codes for an NFT collection that eventually went to zero. Now we're talking about a U.S. government sponsored use of blockchain, use of Bitcoin, and a need to have the whole industry totally explode. All this stuff was actually built for those purposes. Now, do I want to buy this up 25% at resistance right this second? No. But Lux Algo system is putting resistance support rather underneath the market as it rallied. That's a nice way of saying that, if this comes off, money flow is not totally excessive, but again, you can see people really flooding into this stuff, right? And who's people? Hedge funds, right? And hedge funds may have done the big memes as well. They're looking for liquidity. Like, you give me anything that trades volume, the market cap on some of these things could double. And because they're slow moving, right? Like, hedge funds don't want to own something that goes way up and it goes down 70% and it goes way back up again. They don't want to trade that kind of stuff. They want to trade stuff that, like, is the bigger the base, the higher into space, and has an orderly move higher. So again, this is literally happening right before your eyes. Okay. Asking about Arrow. So that's kind of a staple question on the show. To be honest with you, Arrow could go either way, right? So let's look at a 4-hour chart of Arrow. So this is the live TA portion of the show. We just kind of jumped right into that. Okay, so here's Arrow on a 4-hour chart. Try to get as much action in here as I can. All right. So one of the things that happens is, bull markets, particularly extreme bull markets in crypto, will have periods where it'll obviously go sideways. Now, frequently in crypto, things like triangles don't work. They don't work. But in March, in a major bull market, you start to see traditional normal consolidations start to work. Okay. So these Lux Algo formations, these trend lines that Lux Algo automatically draws for wedges and things like that, have been very powerful. So if there's a dip in Arrow to say $1.23, like, that's where the support is. And then you want to see Arrow turn around and start moving higher. Right now, it's kind of funny that everybody is bailing on this. Like, everyone is selling the big rally. Like, you get this huge rally and and everyone bails. Like, this is, Arrow was up a lot before the election, but you went from $1.05 to $1.55 and then everybody sold. Everyone's packing it in. Everyone's like, okay, I'm done. It's over. It's the range. It goes up 50%, you sell. That's what I've been taught to do. No, you got to teach yourself to do something different. Okay, DGen, because I know people will ask. All right, now for the moment, this is one of the only meme coins on Coinbase. Okay, hence the insane bid, right? In other words, people go to Coinbase, they go, oh, look, this thing is at 2 cents, right? Let me get involved. That's just simply what's going on Coinbase. Now, when you look at DGen on centralized exchanges, okay, you're going to notice two things. One, when DGen broke out of this Lux Algo triangle, it was gone. This is also a case of the bigger the base, the higher in the space, meaning you would sit there, you would try to make a new low, try to make a new low, try to make a new low. And without goring you with chart stuff, when this thing turned around and would move higher, after doing things like that, it's usually enormous rallies. Note how DGen unwound all of the bearish excess from the summer crash. Now, if you look at this, Lux Algo has a balance zone around 3.5 cents. So this is just a way to think about any coin you're looking at. It's 35% to what Lux Algo would call the balance zone, and 166% to the premium zone, meaning it would be kind of like pricey at that point. Now, a lot of coins have taken off and gone to their premium zone, but there is a very interesting point here about DGen and Arrow, is that the entire base ecosystem, including the memes on that ecosystem, right? Coinbase has clearly a vested interest and visibility on project quality if they're listed and traded on Base. Again, especially if Coinbase Ventures is involved. The Base ecosystem, like we have not had Altseason on the Base ecosystem yet at all. Okay, let's go to virtual. Like this coin is unbelievable. Okay, so this is a 4-hour chart of virtual. The way I understood this in the beginning was it was something where you could create AI-based gaming assets and then verify their existence via the blockchain, their originality. Then this thing started creating what I would just generally call AI agents. Again, feel free to comment if I've got this right. Excuse me. That this thing created something. It was like kind of an AI streaming meme. It was an AI that would actually do a live stream and became a meme coin, Luna. Now, this thing shot up massively because the market's looking for an AI trade and can't find it. Just can't find it, right? This went up like 800%. Now it's consolidating. Luxalgo came in right on the 16th as a buyer, and now it's dipping. So frequently when a quant momentum system comes in and scoops it up, you want to be you want to look at it closely on the next dip and note the incredible FOMO that came into this market. Now that has to be, maybe a little bit of consolidation, but again, base ecosystem. Okay. Don't you think it's odd that the market cap of Bitcoin is basically the same, even though the price has gone up 30,000 from the previous all-time high? Pretty much shows volatility. Okay, so the market cap of Bitcoin, it can probably go as high as something like Google or Amazon. Bitcoin is not only an investment, but a monetary system. So, again, market cap expansion in memes can spill over into the rest of the market. Okay. Another coin from this group, Pro. A lot of people packed it in on this. So here's a classic case, right? Here's a classic case of you haven't missed anything, to be honest with you, right? So here's Pro. This is like real estate on chain. Downward sloping wedge, which means almost like artificial suppression from bearishness. Then it explodes. Then it comes off. So bag holders get out. Retail sells the first uptick. I used to talk about this all the time when I worked in the institutional world. You got 81% until this gets to its balance zone because it never went up. The crash was so incredible that if all these things go back to their March high, they're essentially handing you a dip. They're like, oh, yeah, this is not a big deal. Well, it was a big deal back in March. How come it's not a big deal now? I mean, BlackRock wants Wall Street on chain. The U.S. government wants Wall Street on chain. Why? Well, they want Wall Street on chain because it's just another growth industry. It's like, hey, we can just have a different form of finance and we can have it all made in America. Let me just sign on that. I mean, these guys are all huddled together. They're going to like UFC fights together. Everyone thinks these guys are kidding. They're not kidding. Right now, everyone's focused on the meme craze. That's great. But this is sitting in plain sight. The whole market is sitting in plain sight. Now, until something like Stellar goes up 25%, everyone goes, wow, what's up with that? Right? Like Cardano, XRP, all these things. Anything made in America or anything that can be used to create an industry in America is too cheap. Okay. Meanwhile, like if you like I said, if you go to live TA, if you go to like the live TA portion of the show, by the way, always feel free, feel free to hit the like button early and often. Okay. Early and often. Let us know what you want to hear and what you like. So if we go to big meme coins, right? Okay, Bonk. So this has had massive volume. Luxalgo is inserting support underneath the market. And, even though it's at resistance, I don't see anything too toppy yet. Okay. On a tactical chart, Bonk's got resistance and probably has to correct. I don't want to fade this. I just don't want to own it in January. But if this is where retail is going, this eventually gets to a point where it runs out of steam and the bid starts going somewhere else. Now, let's look at, say, I don't know. Let's see if I can look at Brett, because I know that's a meme everyone is interested in. Okay. So Brett flies, this is eventually going to be Coinbase listed, I would think. And the meme coins are telling you exactly what I'm trying to tell you, in that things are going to unwind the entire summer excess and probably wind up back at its March high. Now, another boomer coin I think you got to start paying attention to, don't laugh, is Chainlink. Chainlink last year started to rally. And if you're going to have a move in layer ones, cross-chain theme, Chainlink could be it. Chainlink could start the move. Okay. So if you just take a look this way at what Chainlink could do, now you're like, Bill, why are we looking at Chainlink? Well, because if Chainlink goes up 40%, what can happen in layer ones and the cross-chain universe? In other words, the whole idea of Web3 is cross-chain, Polkadot, like a lot of coins in that ecosystem woke up. Base. Like the thing about Base that you have to realize, coming back off the charts, thing about Base that you have to realize is that, people, normies, will be able to onboard to Base from their bank account. Like in the Coinbase wallet, you can onboard from, like, you can go from cash to ETH on Base, which is, it's just absolutely radical. I mean, you can't do that. I mean, you can do it with MoonPay and Phantom, but not with a bank account. I mean, that brings in, like, when, like, normies are figuring all this out, right? They're going to figure out how to get to Base. They're going to figure it out now. Okay. So Ski Mask Dog, another incredibly popular meme coin. And, here it's tough to see, but there was a 40% dip, 39.17%. 39.17% dip. You get involved, it goes up, right? And this is just like a formula. Like, you have to obviously manage risk in this. You cannot trade these things without some kind of risk management or stop loss technique. You can, but if you're wrong about the meme, then you get wiped out. And you don't want that. You don't want that. Okay. So yeah, 45% drop. So let's just like move it to 40% exactly. So I think people are onto this. To me, it shows, like, if you see this 40% down, then back up again, like if this recovers, okay, you have evidence that this thing could be real, or the algorithms are picking this up. Stuff like Peanut, if you picked it up between 20 and 40 million market cap, these things wound up going much, much, much higher. Right now, today, Monday, November 18th, perhaps you can expect profit taking, but make no mistake, if a meme coin goes down 40% and then turns around and starts trending again, like, this was a 40% decline. Like, let's like zoom in. Like, this is almost doing exactly the same thing, right? Like if you look at the candlesticks, again, this is just a theory. This is not in any book, right? So you went down 40% and then it was like 2 days of sideways. And then you went down 40% and then you have, I don't know, you have a couple days of this. And then once you get the first green candle, right? And then they can't hit it back down, then everyone just starts pouring in. Then it goes from 35 to 50 or from 50 to 100. And that's how they play the market cap game with meme coins. Okay, folks. Hope you liked the show. I was actually a little nervous. Oh, wait, we got True. That's another big base coin in this ecosystem. Okay, so True Finance. Again, DeFi, real world assets, old-fashioned lending on the blockchain, nobody interested. Now, you did get a break out of a downward sloping wedge. This is bullish. They inserted support. Lux Algo inserted support underneath the market. Hits the support, bounces. Where is this thing trading? At equilibrium, in a balance zone. Okay? If you're in a balance zone and then you turn around, it's got 40% upside until it gets like, I don't know, maybe considered pricey. Whoops, I didn't share the screen. Okay? So again, here's True. Downward sloping wedge, pops up, hits the support point. Then it's in a balance zone and has 40% upside. So think about what's in base, right? True Finance. And think about what trades on Coinbase, Aave, Maple. All of these DeFi plays, particularly the ones that come out of base, could be massive buys if Wall Street or some big player comes in and gets involved. And as you saw with Ohm, right? Like everyone's got to start asking themselves this very important question. What happens if my DeFi coin or my finance coin or my Web3 coin starts trading like this? Like, I'm only on the air an hour a day. So the other waking hours, you hear my Jersey accent or you hear, the founder's research voice in your head. Ohm took off like from the bottom of one of these Lux Algo triangles. It sat around, it took off again, and then it was gone. Right? In other words, this is people pricing in a new future. Now, everyone's FOMOing in like it was a meme coin, and that's fine. But this is like real world asset infrastructure. And if this coin can trade like this, a lot of other coins can trade like this. Okay, folks, that's it for the pilot of the public Kaizen show. All right. Hope you liked it. I was a little nervous. We will see you next time.